From the mind of wicked and I can feel the power my personality on the field. Some table fires cooking. Working. I'm growing hungry. All my stealing breath from me. Come on, baby boy. Come on. And I can't feel the powerless. My cup's already overfilled. I'm going hungry. Yeah. I'm going hungry. Good morning, folks. Good morning, good morning. Weather warning today. Small but powerful Hurricane Maverick threatens large-scale destruction to living room when he makes landfall, which should be sometime in the next 5 to 10 minutes. For those of you who didn't tune in last night, I forgive you. I forgive you. I understand. It's a fair weather support system, right? Only if, only if it pertains to you and your liking. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being a complete wise ass. Being a complete wise ass. But for those of you who did tune in last night, you got to see some man hijack the channel. Some man in makeup. I don't know who he was. He called himself the Ultimate Cryptid. Not sure who he was. But, yep, this man in makeup hijacks the channel last night. What's he doing? Oh, boy. He doesn't know what he's doing, man. Just sniffing everything, licking everything, eating everything. Before he even knows what it is, he just decides to chomp on it. And hence why we've been to the emergency vet 3 times since we've had him. Always fun. Good morning, Brown Dwarf. How are you, brother? Ultimate Kyle. Yeah, man. What sucks too, right? So I planned on doing much more. I was really gonna go all out. We got back late. Went out to a birthday lunch with Erin and her family. That ran a little longer than I think we expected, and we still had to go to my mom's house and then to a couple stores. By the time we got home and everything was settled, I had 20 minutes to do the makeup and dress, like put all the shit on that I was going to wear. And the makeup, man, let me tell you something. I don't know how these guys do it. They must. If I had an hour to do it, it would have been awesome. But I ended up with like 15 minutes total. And right as I was getting the base colors down, I get it in my eye. and my eye's burning, so I'm wiping it, and then it wipes off the makeup there. And I had to reapply all of that with 5 minutes to go, and it sucked. So it messed it all up. It was supposed to look way different than it did, and yeah, so I was a little upset. I was gonna wear my WrestleMania 6 jacket. I was gonna try to find a feathered boa to wear, like Hogan wore when he was part of the NWO, and then after that, my Shawn Michaels ring pants from WrestleMania 14. I was gonna go all out, but I just ran out of time, man. So the makeup is what you got, and it was a crappy job. It wasn't as good as it could have been. But anyway, it was all for fun. It was, it was just a special thing we were doing. Birthday weekend, WrestleMania weekend, something that I've always been a fan of. So that's what we did. Yeah, he was one of my favorites too. Yeah, Warrior. Yeah, that's. I couldn't decide. I was either going to do Warrior or I was going to do Hawk from the Legion of Doom. I probably should have done Hawk. Would have been way easier. That face paint was much easier than the Warriors. One thing was red and one thing was black, and they were much easier to paint. But yeah, you live and you learn. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. 82,000 people were there last night, and 80,000 were there on Saturday night. So 162,000 people in 2 nights, man. Imagine that shit. Imagine it's just so amazing. The stadium, when you look at 82,000 people in a stadium, it's incredible. It's incredible. These guys who are paying God, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for tickets way up in the nosebleeds, and you're talking way the hell. I mean, you can't. The ring looks like a puzzle piece. It's so small from where the top seats are in that stadium, the ones that are the highest. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I was checking prices. Hold on, sorry. I apologize. I had to. I was checking prices a couple weeks ago just to see what they were looking like, and the seats by the ring. Holy shit! You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. Oh, I watch it every year. It's a tradition for me. It's been a tradition since I was a kid, and it's a way that I still connect with my grandmother spiritually. I know it sounds so funny, right? Wrestling, grandma, but we watched it together so often, and she was such a great grandmother. She was so good to me. And I lost her way too young. She would back in the day when they had the pay-per-views, it was way different. You had to either call the cable company or you had to have a satellite, and most people didn't even have the right cable to get a pay-per-view back in the 80s and 90s. But I don't know if you remember those cable boxes. That was the dial, and it was I think it was like 1 through 26 numbered, and then A through Z. It was a black box with a turn dial on the front. Well, if you slid the little card that came with that box that told you what every channel was, you slid that in the top and you moved it around just right, you unlocked every channel. How crazy is that? I don't know if you guys knew this. I don't know whoever figured that out, but genius. And so she would uh, use the card, wiggle it around so we could get the pay-per-views once in a while. On Thanksgiving, I remember watching Survivor Series because it used to be on Thanksgiving Day, and I remember watching it a couple times as a kid. She was just so damn good to me. She was the best. So that's why it's. I mean, I like wrestling. I don't like it as much now as I did when I was a kid. If I watch it, because I have Peacock, so that gives me access to the WWE Network, which has an unlimited library of just about every wrestling program, every match from almost every organization ever. I mean, you're talking millions and millions of hours of matches and shit. So I go back and I watch the old stuff because that's, my favorite. Yeah, it's crazy. It's what is it, $59.99 or $69.99? But if you have the WWE Network on Peacock, which I think it's like, gosh, depending on your cable company, I think Peacock's like maybe $9.99 a month. Then you get access to the WWE Network, so you get all the pay-per-views for free with it. So like our cable company, for whatever reason, has some kind of contract with Peacock that we get Peacock for free just because we have our cable company. So that means I get the WWE Network for free too, and all the pay-per-views. Of course, I remember Kabuki. Of course. Gosh, there's not many wrestlers I don't know. I mean, I literally have watched so much wrestling throughout my life. We were talking about them all last night. Bruiser Brody, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Bruno Sammartino, the Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Ric Flair, Hillbilly Jim, Haystacks Calhoun, Chief J Strongbow. All these guys. So many cool characters growing up, man. So many. The funny thing was, right, during like the early 90s, it was like the end of the Hulkamania era, and Vince was really pushing. Um, don't be sorry. I was only joking when I was being a wise ass about that. Don't be sorry. It's all right. Listen, it's not for everybody. I knew that going into it. We had 8 people watch. That was the most we had. I expected probably even less than that, to be completely honest with you. But it was something we wanted to do, and we had fun. Me and Chris had a good time. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, so the funny thing, right? So after Hogan left WWE, McMahon was, trying to figure out what he was going to do next, and he had a lot of young talent that were really good: Shawn Michaels, Bret the Hitman Hart, guys like that. But Hogan's era was all these larger than life characters, right? You had Superfly Jimmy Snuka, who was this guy from the islands, and he wore that tiger striped loincloth speedo. Hillbilly Jim, big giant farmer hillbilly guy. The Iron Sheik, who was supposed to be like the Ayatollah from Iran. Sergeant Slaughter, who was a military guy. They all had these characters. Um, Jake the Snake, he had a snake, and whatever. Well, those weren't so bad during the early '90s. Though Vince was trying so hard to replace Hogan and get people's attention, especially kids, that he pushed characters even harder. And so the thing is that like it was kind of a running joke, but it was the truth. So when he would hire guys on, he'd bring them in. He'd ask them, "Hey, what do you do for a living, or do you have any special talents?" And guys would come in and they'd go, Yeah, I'm a garbage man. And he's like, you're a garbage man? Oh, all right. Um, we're gonna call you Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and you're gonna carry a garbage can to the ring, and you're gonna dress like a garbage man, and that's who you're gonna be. And then, other guys would come in and they would say, what do you do for a living? And they would say, oh, uh, I'm really, I'm a hunter or whatever. And then he'd, give them this hunter gimmick, or um, they were just such crazy, stupid gimmicks, right? Like one guy, I remember the story was he came in and he didn't like what he did for a living, but he said he was really fond of like medieval stories and stuff. And he friggin' put his big buffalo head on him and called him Mantar, like a minotaur. It's like the stupidest shit ever. And so everybody would tell like any new guys who were trying to get on the roster, when you come in, don't tell them you got some stupid job. You better really think hard about what you're going to tell them, because otherwise you're going to get stuck with some stupid gimmick. But it was pretty funny. No, he's gonna come on next week, I think. Bettina is coming on Thursday. Bettina Moss is coming on Thursday. I think I'm gonna have I Saw Cryptids on next week. I think I'm gonna try to keep it to one show a week most of the time. Maybe two, depending, but probably just one. Oh, go ahead, brother. Enjoy your 420 meditation. Yeah, everything was a marketing ploy. It was just so, some of the stuff was just so dumb. Dentists, garbage men, minotaurs. There was just so many bad ones, so many bad ones. And then he finally landed on something really good with The Undertaker. That was the greatest gimmick ever, the greatest. And he was the perfect guy to do it. The craziest part about that whole story is that Paul Bearer, the Undertaker's manager, whose real name was Percy Pringle, real name, um, Paul Bearer was actually a mortician in real life, but he had been a manager in multiple wrestling promotions for many, many years. And so McMahon found out, here we have this guy, this Undertaker guy who's supposed to be like supernatural and like kind of dead or half dead or whatever. Um, well, he shouldn't talk. You don't want to have him talk and ruin the mystique around it. He needs a manager to talk for him. So he gets Percy Pringle to come in and play Paul Bearer. And man, what a combination. I mean, it was just perfect. Those two guys were perfect for the parts. They played them so well. The Undertaker did that gimmick for 30 plus years. And yeah, it was just, he was so entertaining. He was so good at it. It was the best gimmick they ever had. Those lights would go out. You'd hear the sound of the bell, the gong. The smoke would fill the arena. Those purple and blue lights would come on. Just creepy. He was the best. He was the best. Good morning, guys. No, the Hulk was the biggest thing that ever happened to wrestling till Stone Cold came along. Hulk made wrestling what it is today. He ushered in the era of wrestling as it is today. He made it worldwide. He made merchandise sales something, very big. Yeah, he was just larger than life. He had so much charisma. So much charisma. But anyway, enough about the wrestling stuff. So, talk to Alex, Brian, and the guys. It looks like there's going to be about 10 of us on this trip at the end of the month up to Vermont to go search for Bigfoot in the mountains there. It's which is awesome, because with more of us, there's more things we can do, and we all have ideas about things we want to do. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to send one team up the mountain, and then a couple teams positioned in the middle of the mountain and then down the bottom of the mountain. And the team who's up on top is going to try to flush whatever's up there down towards the other teams, and hope that we have some success with that. I think I'm going to do the either the glow sticks or the string lights right at camp, hanging them up around the camp, outside the camp, so that if anything comes in, you'll see those things move. You'll see something pass in front of it. I was even thinking about, they have these little lights, right? And they're battery powered and they stick on things, or you can, they have a Velcro strap so you can run it around something and Velcro it to it, strap it to it. And they run on sensors. And when something comes near them, the light comes on and it also emits this beep. I was thinking about putting those up around camp too. Good morning, Grace. Oh, I know, the hearse into the arena. That was crazy. That was crazy. Remember when Stone Cold drove the beer truck into the arena and sprayed everybody with beer out of a fire hose? That was nuts. Oh man, last night, real quick, it's the last thing I'm going to say about last night watching WrestleMania. So Vince McMahon's son, Shane McMahon, had quit the company. Probably about 2 years ago. So he came back last night, giant surprise, came back. He was supposed to wrestle The Miz as a surprise. No one knew this was going to happen. He gets in the ring and they're going through their little thing, they're fighting back and forth. He jumps over The Miz, lands, and then when he's getting ready to get up, he falls to the ground. And this is what I'm saying. Wrestling is not fake in this way. He broke his ankle live on pay-per-view. Broke his ankle. You heard him yell out like in pain and then yell to the referee, "I just broke my ankle. I just broke my ankle." Yeah, pretty nasty shit. Pretty nasty. But anyway, these things happen. So that's part of the plan for Vermont. Obviously, there's much more stuff that we're going to do, I think, within those 3 days. Since this is all we're going to be doing for 3 days, is, searching for Bigfoot. We have some other stuff that people are going to... We're having a meeting soon, a big group meeting about it all. We're going to plan the teams and who's going to do what and what days and all that stuff. It's really going to be something pretty special. I don't know about live streaming from there. I have no idea what the service is like up in the forests of Mount Ascutney. I have no clue. I would assume it's probably not the best. What I think I may do, they have satellite Wi-Fi hotspots that you can buy. Runs off satellite, works anywhere. And I think I may buy one of those and bring that with me so that I can live stream at times. Also, want to be able to have cell service. But it is what it is. Yeah, I know, the pile driver. That's what broke Austin's neck. Yep. That guy he was almost paralyzed from that. There have been people who have been paralyzed from that. Yep. Very real injuries. Very, very, very real. It's changed a lot. They've cut the schedule back a lot. They are treated much better nowadays. They're not pushed as hard. Somebody gets hurt, they can take time off and heal because they have guaranteed contracts now, which back in the 80s and early 90s they did not. So these guys would work through terrible injuries and then they just get more and more hurt. Hence why a lot of them became addicted to painkillers and cocaine, because they used the cocaine to push when they were so tired, the painkillers to kill the pain and to help them sleep, and steroids to help heal the injuries. It was just a terrible combination. So many of them died from it. But it's much different now. Thank God. Thank God. And much of that is due to the Monday Night Wars, when WCW competed with the WWF on Monday night for brand supremacy. When the two guys left WWE for for WCW, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall formed the NWO and all that stuff. Those guys are the ones who ushered in guaranteed contracts in wrestling. Before that, McMahon didn't give guaranteed money. He gave what he called opportunities. You could make a lot of money if you wrestled regularly, but if you got hurt, these guys wouldn't take time off because they didn't get paid. It's terrible. But anyway, back to cryptid stuff. So that's what's going on so far with the trip. That's what I know so far. We're going to talk more and plan some more stuff out. Me and Aaron went up yesterday to, Piper was one of my favorites. I loved that guy so much. Me and Aaron took a ride up to the state forest, right? And guess what? The gates are open. I can drive into the forest now. We drove through just about every trail road there yesterday. And I found some areas that I didn't even know existed in that place. And I am wicked excited to investigate some of these new areas there. And that'll start next weekend. So we got that to look forward to also. What else? Gosh. Oh yeah. I think you guys were all here when I said, please go subscribe to CARC Universal and watch This Week in Bigfoot. What a great show. Those guys are awesome. Mike Lucci, who's part of that group and part of that show, is, what did you eat? Oh my God, Maverick. He just ate something. And this is what I have to worry about with this stupid dog. He just eats anything and then end up in the friggin' emergency room again. God. Stresses me the frig out. Mike Lucci's part of that group and part of that show, and he's one of the guys who's going to be with us on this trip. Evan, New Hampshire Sasquatch on Instagram, is going to be with us on this trip. Oh gosh, I forget who else. Quite a few people. Brian and Chewy. It's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be friggin' crazy. It's going to be so awesome. I'm so looking forward to this. To have a team that big, experienced guys in the field, and when you have somebody like Alex, who's been traveling the country for so long, investigating, filming, documenting, working with some of the best people in the field, and Alex is such a smart guy, very organized. He has these clear, concise ideas. It's really going to be something really cool. It's going to be something really cool. Gosh, there was something else. I think we talked about the Bodette film, right? You guys know you're not having that, but I don't know where that bone came from. Get out of there. No. Here we go. Hurricane Maverick. These mags, I won't let him eat the bone that's on the ground. Jeez Louise. The Bodette film I think you talked about, which is the Champ film. They have a portion of it in a documentary. Ow! God damn it. Come here. Stop. Yeah. What else? If you haven't watched Aaron Caju's documentary on the Bridgewater Triangle, I suggest you watch that. That's the most comprehensive documentary on the Bridgewater Triangle. Oh my God. So listen to this, right? So a couple days before we got to the Bridgewater Triangle, we had no idea about this. Alex found out just the other day. A couple days before we got to the Bridgewater Triangle, apparently there was a man there who was trying to commit suicide from that ledge. And They stopped him, thank God. But only a couple days before we got there, this happened. There was a report on all trails of somebody being escorted out by a Bigfoot not too long before we got there, I think it was. And then while we were driving down Coppercut Road, I'm looking in the forest. I'm going, dude, this place caught fire. Like, there's all these charred trees. And Alex and Brian are like, what the hell? They were there just literally a year before they were there, right? And it wasn't like that. And Alex found out about the fire and sent us the article about it. It happened 2 days after he left there last year. The forest fire did. I don't remember the exact specifications on what happened or how it happened, but just more crazy shit from inside a crazy, crazy place. It's just such a weird place, man. It's so very weird. There's just so much negative, strange energy in there. Although that where we went on the reservation where they held their ceremonies, that area was so nice. It felt so peaceful and so calm and so warm. A drastic difference to what the rest of the forest felt like. Not that it, and I didn't feel like it felt really bad, but when you got to that place, then you could really tell the difference. Oh, jeez Louise. But anyway, that's all. I just wanted to fill you in on some of the details of what we got going on for that trip at the end of the month. There obviously will be a video, if not multiple videos of that trip just on this channel. Don't know about what everybody else is going to do, but you know me, I am going to film. I'm definitely going to film. I'm hoping maybe to be able to use some night vision or maybe a thermal. I don't know if any of those guys have any of that stuff, but I've always wanted to use it. So I'm hoping maybe we get to use that while we're out there. And, you know, then just the camping. The campsites seem to just bring these things in. People camping, food, music, people talking, and then you go to sleep and it's like they want to know. They come in, they want to know what you're doing. You know, press on people's tents, which is what happened to Brian years ago. Yeah, so exciting. I can't wait. Only a few weeks away, the 28th to the 30th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be awesome. So anyway, stay tuned. If I talk cryptid, I gotta check with him. Let me check with him today. I'll let you know. Maybe he is coming on tomorrow. Crap. I gotta check my calendar. Maybe he is. I don't remember all this stuff. That's why I put it in the calendar. So if he is, I will make up the thumbnail and all that today, and I will let you guys know. I'll post it, and yeah, it'd be a good time. That kid's a good kid. He's a good kid. But anyway, let me get off here and get him home. He's about to go crazy. I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye. All right, that's enough.